Hey guys, first thing before we get started, thank you guys so much for the support on that first video. That was insane. I was shocked. I was out in Colorado all week, and on the drive out there, I was checking the comments and stuff and reading every single comment, and I haven't even got through all of them. But first part of this video is going to be talking about that Kubota. I told you guys I would take you guys on the equipment purchase life, I guess, of trying to get equipment bought for the farm. And if you guys are new, basically go watch the first video on this channel, and that kind of explains everything. Second part of this video is going to be chasing after a tractor. It hasn't happened yet, but I'll show you guys my thoughts on it. And I went and bid on a couple tractors. It wasn't the right price though. So here's the first piece of equipment for the farm that I bought. It's a Kubota 95-2. It's a 2017. I'll try and run you guys through all the features. We're gonna use it. Unfortunately, we're not gonna use it down at the farm. I went down there yesterday. I'll probably put some clips in that. So it's December 21st. I'm gonna try and run down to the farm and see if that thing's gonna be dry enough. If it is dry enough, we're gonna take the skid steer down tomorrow and try to get a day's work in. I went and walked it quick, and there's still a layer of frost on it, and then by tomorrow, or by the end of the day, that layer is kind of gonna be out and it's gonna be all slushy and muddy. Basically, we'd only have a short window to work on the farm and start tearing out trees, and that window was gonna be muddy as heck and it was gonna be rough. So I was like, let's just wait until that ground gets real hard. I didn't actually know off the top of my head how wide these tracks were, so we're gonna measure. So the machine itself has 17-inch tracks. I wasn't sure if they were 15-inch or 17-inch tracks. They're in pretty good shape. The machine itself, the Kubota, has 500, it might be 600. So the Kubota has 595 hours. I think I bought it with 570 or 560 hours on it. So we put some hours on it since. But I bought this skid steer track loader. What do they call them? There's all sorts of names, CTL. But I bought the track loader back in October, actually, because once again, in that first video, like I mentioned, I thought that farm was closed, and I was like, I'm gonna be ready to go right when we close. I'm gonna get out there the next week with it and get going. So I actually bought this back in October, and ever since we've been cleaning up my dad's property back there. This is a 35-acre acreage kind of / investment property that's right outside of the town. So there's a lot of timber down there, kind of overgrown spots that we've been cleaning up, and I'll show you guys will see all that in this video. It is a 2017, so of course it has depth, and I didn't realize this, but Kubota, I thought Kubota's been making skid steers a little longer than this, but somebody told me this the other day and I didn't really think about it, but the first year that Kubota made a skid steer, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, was like 2011. So they haven't been in the business too long, but a lot of guys I talk to and a lot of guys I see on YouTube run them daily for business and stuff, and they love them. So that's kind of what got my eye towards going to a Kubota, is seeing a lot of guys on YouTube that run them daily for construction companies, like them and enjoying them, and look at their reviews. It was a 1 month under warranty still, so I did take it in to get a couple things fixed. There's a couple recalls. It is a high flow machine, so you have these are standard flow. I'm not sure what this is exactly, and then here comes the high flow, which will be nice, and I'll get into that and why I want high flow. So what's kind of nice about this machine is it's a simple machine. Before this, my dad actually owned a John Deere 260, which he sold that machine because I was like, hey, I'm going to get a skid steer. You don't really need to have that. If you want to use this, you can use this. And so in return for him letting me store it in his shed until I get a shed built, he can use this out here or on any of his rental properties. That John Deere 260 also had one feature that I loved, and that was a sliding door. These things are nice, kind of. You gotta have two hands to push it down. Let's see if we can get it here. I'm sure you guys have all seen these sliding door, but you know, if you're stuck or you're trapped in here and you're alone out there and you can't reach your phone, I'm sure you could. You got this sliding door that you can put up anytime, no matter where your bucket position is. As far as controls, here's your seat belt. Just these bars that go down, real simple, flip up. They turn off all the hydraulics and everything as soon as you flip them up. That safety feature goes off. It has pilot controls, or other known as ISO. I think Bobcat calls them ISO. So this one's going to be your forward, reverse, left, right, and this one's going to be all your bucket controls: back, forward, tip, curl bucket in, and all your auxiliary stuff's right here at your joystick. There's nothing too fancy to it. Your buttons are pretty darn simple: parking brake, hydraulic lock, lights, hydraulics, and luckily for me, it's got auxiliary skid steer plate detached down there. One thing I'd like to get in that was kind of pricey is I'd like to get in a backup camera. I feel like it's just safe to have one. Eventually we'll probably get that in. I did add a radio in here. It was all radio ready. It had speakers already, so all you had to do is buy the radio and then install it in here, which I got in the skid steer. So like I said, I'm used to using a John Deere 260, and that thing was nice. It worked great. Had 2,500 hours. We really didn't have any issues. Started right up. Even in cold weather, you'd have to plug it in, of course. But just a little small feature that you notice is that this air ride seat. The Kubotas don't have much suspension under the tracks, I've heard. Compared to like cats, I guess ride a little smoother. That's what I've seen on YouTube. They have some more suspension along the tracks or along the body. But one thing that saves your butt is an air ride seat here. It's nice. It's smooth through there. When I get in the truck afterwards, I'm always hitting bumps and thinking, my gosh, this is a rough truck, because I'm not used to not having an air ride seat after sitting in that skid steer for so long. So one thing I do want to do with this channel, especially when starting out, is be completely transparent on pricing and how much stuff costs just right away, or how much money I'm making from farming or anything like that. So this skid steer was $49,000, and I'll let you guys decide if that was a good buy or bad. But I think in life, especially, there's some younger guys that watch this channel, so knowing the price of things and value of things is probably pretty good, and learning the value of things is pretty good, because someday you could see a stock or an asset class that is pretty cheap compared to a different asset class, and you could be like, hey, you know, that's pretty undervalued. It has the potential to be 5x that. So I don't know, that's something I've always been addicted to as a kid, knowing the price and value of things. And whenever somebody buys something, sometimes like when I was younger, my dad would get mad because I'd always ask like, hey, how much did you pay for it or whatever? And that's probably not the most appropriate question to always ask somebody, but I asked anyways. So if I'm asking that to other people, I got to be open and tell people what I paid and stuff for that. So $49,000, I think it was a fair price for it. Maybe a little overpaying for the skid steer. It does have now 600 hours on it, has high flow, so it has pretty much everything besides a backup camera on it. Now I could have definitely got by with something cheaper, probably higher hour. That would have done just fine, but essentially the reason it's probably okay paying a little higher for this and having a nice track skid loader on the farm is that when I go to sell this farm after cleaning it up with this, that farm's easily going to pay for this skid steer. Unless we see farmland markets or recreational markets just get completely murdered in the next 5 years, I don't see how it's not going to pay for itself based on the price I bought that first 120 acre farm at. That first 120 acre farm, by the way, nobody really wanted that farm. It was kind of in rough shape. It'd been sitting on the market for a long time. Nobody really wanted it, so I was able to kind of knock that price down a lot and eventually get it for what I think is a decent deal. And I can kind of get into that with farmland and buying farmland. I do want to do a separate video on that, but that's the reason. This is going to clean up that farm mainly. The other farm that I'm buying doesn't really need cleaned up, so it makes sense to get something like that. It's going to be greasy down here. So a lot of the hours that I put on the skid steer so far, and I got Spencer, my younger brother, to run the skid steer too, to get used to it, because I figured he'll be running it a lot of the time too. But we spent a lot of hours just clearing all this brush down here. It's basically one big pile, but it's three little piles kind of put together of all this brush we've been clearing. So we were digging next to it, and then some of them you could rip out with a skid steer, and having that heavy skid steer is so nice. But others, what you'd have to do, and I'll show you guys that bucket, you'd have to just take that bucket to the side of that tree, dig apart the roots, and eventually you could get those trees out. But and then once it got all the holes out, eventually came back with a dirt bucket and just filled in all those holes. And it was a good experience getting to run that skid steer, getting used to it. So that 12-year-olds probably wouldn't murder me in the comment section about my skid steer skills. And then here's the other brush pile we started forming. There's a couple of dead oak trees still standing kind of all around here that we started taking down, but we kind of got caught and winter came up on us pretty quick.
So for those who don't know who I am, I'm Grant's little brother, 2 years younger. My name's Spencer, and I have a channel called Spencer TV. So I play like farm sim videos like that, but I'll be helping Grant and probably videoing a lot, running the skid loader, got used to that. I did some of the work down there, so I like playing around with the chainsaw too. That'll probably be my my go-to job.
So I apologize, but we're not going to be able to use the skid steer today because it's going to be more of a mudding fest. Don't get me wrong, it's fun, makes entertaining videos, but if it was my property, maybe we could do it. It's my dad's, I don't want to tear it up. So the next couple of weeks, we'll get out there. By all means, I apologize because we're just talking and just not even working or doing anything, and it's just, we're talking. But essentially, we're getting the trailer ready because once the ground freezes over out there, probably start cutting down some trees and moving with the skid steer and getting some brush out there. One thought is getting a mulcher. So we're insulating the snowmobile trailer so that way we can stay at it overnight when it's freezing out, and we got a little propane heater that's indoor safe that we can use. So we're gonna insulate this trailer, try to get it done. We'll see if we get it done tonight, but that's where we're gonna go from there. Is this gonna keep us warm?
We'll see if I can. This is our 7.5 or 7. So it's 1.5 inches thick. I thought these were 1 inch thick, but they're actually 1.5 inches. So once we take this off, we'll see if that's 1.5 inches too. It should be. And then we'll hold it up and then tape it. And then in the end, we'll do like a super, super thin, flexible, just plywood so that it's not open, if that makes sense. So.
Sorry for not time-lapsing it, but this gets pretty boring. We got this put in at least. There was a tiny, tiny sheet of, it was like aluminum or something. The sidewalls at least have 2 sheets of aluminum. This had 1, and so just to keep eating, we're gonna do this. Okay, there's 14 minutes left on this auction, and I'm going in on this 8110. We're finally making our move. I bid it up just a bit as we were through the past couple of days, but I never wanted to really chase it until now. So we're really gonna see what this thing goes for. Now it's end of season right now, and a lot of farmers are probably trying to get write-offs. And this is a nice, clean 2-owner Iowa tractor that the second owner, bought with 500 hours and has really taken care of it. So I know if I'm gonna get this tractor, I'm gonna have to pay for it for sure. But it's a tractor I've been looking around, searching, and I wanna try to chase after this tractor, so we'll see what it brings. It's an 01, 8110, 4,600 hours. It does have some older ag leader on-track stuff. It does have the 16-speed power shift transmission, 4 hydraulics. It's got the bigger hydraulic pump, which should be good. It's got all 3 PTOs. It has the 540, 1000, and then it has the bigger interchangeable big 1000 PTO. He's at 81. We're gonna go 82. I got my price set of what I want to go on this. We're gonna confirm the bid. I have high bid for a bit. It's gonna get wiped though. There's also a 97, here, let's go here. There's a 97 8400 at auction with 5,000 hours. And that's gonna probably go for about the same price as the 8110. It's kind of insane. So this guy's at 92.5, which means the search for another tractor continues. The one tractor I've been looking at is a John Deere 8300. I drive past this every day as I go to the gym. And I finally called the guy on it because I was thinking this was too big, but I was like, you know, I kind of want to go after an 81, but an 83 for the right price would be good. It's a clean tractor. It has 5 CVs in the back. I didn't ask him about the PTO, if it's 1,000 or 540. It looks like it has fairly new rubber on it. I don't know the model year. I think it's older. I don't think it's a 97 or 98. Clean tractor. I mean, you got a little decal missing there, but got the buddy seat up there. Course, power shift. So that's a John Deere 8300 with 8,000 hours, and I called the guy on the phone finally, and he's asking 55,000 for it. He's actually selling for his dad, and his dad farms in north central Iowa and is retiring. He's asking 55 grand for it. I told him, man, if it didn't have 8,000 hours, you know, if it had lower hours amounts, I'd be willing to pay a lot more for a tractor like that. It's pretty clean and stuff. And I was telling him, I was like, well, John Deere 8110 sold on auction to a stupid kid and another guy were bidding for it, and it went for 92.5. He's like, holy crap, man, that's pretty crazy. And he's like, maybe I'm not that far off with 55K with 8,000 hours. So tractors are going like crazy right now. I would take a tractor like that if it had 4 or 5,000 hours or something like that, kind of lower range, and we're gonna keep searching. We're gonna keep searching on it. So I think the game plan is to start searching again in January and February for a tractor. Kind of after the December tax season craziness buying starts to slow down. In January and February, markets should be a little calmer. Hopefully, I don't want to wait too long though, because obviously you don't want to be rushing to buy a tractor when you got to get seed in the ground and stuff. So we'll see. We'll hopefully end up making a good decision on a tractor. If you guys have anything that you see, feel free to DM it to me on Instagram or something like that. I know people have been sending me some tractors. As far as planter, a lot of people last video said, hey, go with the 12 row. For the money, it's worth it. You can expand if you want with a 12 row. So I think we're going to try and chase after a 12 row planter. I'm thinking right now something like a 1760 John Deere planter would be perfect. So thanks for watching. It really means a lot. All your guys' comments and everything in the comment section is crazy. I always love updating my phone literally every second to just see what people commented and stuff, and then reply to those comments. So hopefully we can get another video out this next week. Got a couple cool things coming up if all goes to plan. So thanks for watching, guys.